Tornado sirens sound again overnight in Perryville, just hours after the town was seriously damaged by strong storms.
It's very difficult up there. All the emergency vehicles, the lights, you're kind of blinded. There's debris all over the place.
In downtown, whipping winds blew heavy construction signs around like they were toys. Thousands of people losing power across the bi-state.
5 on Your Side has team coverage, new video of the damage, and the resources thousands of people need to begin the long road to recovery.
From 5 on Your Side, this is Today in St. Louis.
And good morning to you. It is Wednesday, March 1st. I'm Alexandra Corey.
And I'm ready now. We have breaking news to get to right now. Perryville, Missouri was hit hard last night by a deadly tornado that shut down part of Highway 55. They're holding a news conference right now.
They can coordinate further efforts. We will have a press conference at 1 where you'll have the opportunity here in this auditorium to ask the questions that you need. If you have questions that you would like answered, you can reach me at my city email, which is my name, JERICAIN, at cityofperryville.com, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible and get those answered for you before the next news conference. Thank you.
Looks like they are just wrapping up the news conference there in Perryville. That is where a tornado touched down last night on Interstate 55. There was a confirmed death. Our Ryan Dean filed a report for us showing some of the new dramatic video.
It's a simply incredible scene. Ryan Dean picks up our team coverage now, where he's calling it ground zero.
Good morning. It looks like we found ground zero here just north of Perryville. We're about a mile and a half north of Perryville off of Interstate 55. Let me step out of the way. It's hard to tell what this is behind me. Either it looks like maybe a repair shop or a business or maybe even a home, but it has been blown off its foundation, toppled over. We're told that several homes have been damaged here just north of Perryville. Several cars as well damaged in this storm. Let's show you some video. Here's what I can tell you from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. One fatality, and that fatality was somebody who was ejected from a vehicle on Interstate 55. We're told the tornado touched down around 7:45 last night. The interstate was closed for hours, and in large part because there was a auto repair shop located just off of Interstate 55, and a lot of the cars were actually blown onto the highway. The interstate, though, reopened overnight. We're going to have much more coming up on Today in St. Louis. That is the very latest for now. Ryan Dean, 5 on Your Side from Perryville.
We should mention that Ryan was at that press conference, Scott, so he's going to have some updated information for us in just a little bit. But that damage there in Perryville, can we say maybe that was the worst hit area?
Well, that's what we hear so far. Now, that storm stayed on the ground for a while, moving over in through Illinois, but it was circulating. The circulation was there back here into Reynolds County. Even before that, we started tracking that. Craig was there with you yesterday afternoon tracking this storm. And when it touched down in Perryville, that really just west of Perryville is where we saw the first actual damage reports. Not to say that it didn't touch down farther west, just don't have reports of that. And then it continued on to the east with additional reports of damage, and even a person that was killed near their home. Apparently, from what we're getting from the newspaper and TV reports out of Evansville, is that person was trying to get to their storm shelter in White County. And then they ended up closing Interstate 64 in Indiana, about a 200-mile tract with that circulation in that particular thunderstorm. What we can tell you this morning is everything has moved well east of St. Louis. Things are starting to settle down. And the best news of all is, even though earlier about 3:30 to 4 o'clock we had those thunderstorms rolling through Perryville, it's drying out there now. Not clearing out just yet, but at least it's dry there for the moment. We'll see temperatures this afternoon that go back into the low and mid 50s. It's a breezy day, but some sunshine will return this afternoon, Gary.
All right, Scotty, let's talk the roads down there in the Perryville or Perry County area. We still officially, according to MoDOT, we have 61 still closed, not in Perryville, but north toward the town of Brewer between 812 and Route M. Route M, though, on the north side of Brewer still has access to 55, so that'd be your alternate route, working way down to 51 or Perryville Boulevard, back and forth around that. Still waiting to hear about this. They anticipated to be about a 5-hour closure with power lines and debris over the road there, and that was about 11:30 11:30 last night, so still waiting for that to hear the official open on that. Rain is pushing out of the area. We're still seeing ponding of water issues and heavy rain toward Mount Vernon, toward Nashville. But you can see back here, we're now starting to dry the roads out. They're technically still wet now, so heading out the door, you will contend with that. But as the winds pick up, as Sky's been tracking it, we'll start to dry the roads out during the bulk of the morning commute. And if you head out the door here, before we have the sun in the skies, watch out for a little debris, possibly in your neighborhood from the storms from last night. Allie?
All right, Gary, thanks so much. Well, a second round of storms that passed through the area just a few hours ago, also packing a punch. Heavy rains, wind, and lightning whipped through downtown St. Louis, and at least 170-mile-per-hour wind gusts fell over the Metro East. That caused thousands to lose power. Our 5 on your side's Kaya Edwards picks up our live team coverage now from Maryville. Kaya, good morning.
Allie, Rennie, good morning. We're here with John Baroud, the Senior Director of Operations with Ameren, Illinois. And John, we have been hearing about power outages all night. So what's the latest? Where are the bulk of the outages right now?
Well, our crews have been working through the night, and we have less than 100 out in the Metro East. Our greater problems are down south around the Carbondale area where we had a tornado hit last night. We have about 3,000 customers out in that area and about 6,000 out in the Sparta area.
So then what is the action plan? How do you tackle so many outages?
Well, we've been preparing since yesterday. We moved some material trailers in place and done some other things so we could hit the ground running. And actually, our plan is in action right now. We have people working. We're moving resources. Actually, some of the folks from this office will be going up to the Ottawa area to help them out where they had a pretty severe tornado last night.
Right, and we've really seen damage all over, tree limbs down. This video that you all are looking at, we're seeing, golf ball size hail that's, hit houses in certain areas. So I guess my question is now, if I'm, waking up this morning and I go out and I see damage, I see a tree limb or I see power lines down, what do I do? The
most important thing is to stay away from those wires. Don't go near them, and give us a call on our 800 number, 1-800-795-5000.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you, John. So we know now if you go out, definitely report those power lines. If you see them down, you can give Ameren, Illinois a call here. And that is the latest from Maryville. Reporting live, Kaya Edwards, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Kaya. As always, 5 on your side viewers are helping us tell you the story. 5 on your side's Pat McGonigal is in our newsroom with new reaction from social media. What are you seeing, Pat?
Yeah, Rennie, it just keeps coming in. Our viewers are our eyes and ears out there, and I want to give you a sampling of some of the damage, some of the hailstones, some of the dramatic video. Just want to show you real quickly here. This is hail falling at the Cracker Barrel in Troy, Illinois. This is from Mitchell Schusler. You can't hear the audio, but this gives you a sense for what it looked like in Troy, Illinois at that Cracker Barrel. This picture just came in a little while ago from Omar Atkinson. This is a big dramatic lightning strike. You can see right there above the church. This is from Lebanon, Illinois. And then those hailstones. Look at this. This is coming from Festus, from Jason. He's got 2 handfuls of hail right there. Then this is all this hail collected on what appears to be like a back deck or a porch from one Mary Mama. And then this was kind of some cool video Casey Nolan posted last night. I just wanted to share real quickly. This is the clouds moving over the Eagleton Federal Courthouse here in downtown St. Louis, and some more video. But we keep getting them, Rennie. Here's a big hailstone, almost the size of a baseball, from Jacoby in Edwardsville, Illinois. So send us any images that you might have. Use the hashtag #BeOn5 or some video. And Rennie and Allie, it just keeps coming in all morning long. People, they're waking up and they're sharing what they either saw late last night or early this morning. So definitely send them in if you can, and we'd be happy to share them. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Pat. Simply some incredible images there. Remember, you can monitor weather conditions 24/7 with the KCK weather app. Just search KCK in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
All right, let's send it back over to Scott now for the very latest.
Well, this morning we are starting to see some clouds breaking up around the St. Louis area. That's good news. All the rain has pushed off to the east of town. Improving weather is on the way. So we're going to have a few quiet days weather-wise around the region, but we'll still have some gusty breezes today. Right now we still have those gusty winds out of the west, and that's going to be the case as we head through the day today. You can see yesterday's and the overnight showers and thunderstorms continuing to slide off to the east and to the southeast of St. Louis and pressing away from the area at this point. The severe weather now is is basically along the Ohio River and then down in through portions of Kentucky and Tennessee and sliding eastbound. For us, we'll see the skies become partly cloudy. Temperature back to 54 or so this afternoon. With gusty winds, it won't feel like it. But as we head into the upcoming weekend, man alive, is it going to be nice. We're talking near 70 by Sunday afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. The good news is that things have settled down and there is no more severe weather threat for our area anytime soon, Allie.
All right, Scott, that is good news. And we have much more severe weather coverage for you this morning at 6:15. We have new video from northern Illinois where massive storms tore through several towns there.
President Trump makes his first address to Congress. We've got new reaction from lawmakers, plus what the president says he hopes to accomplish next.
And organic vegetables are popular, but are they really worth the extra cost? 5 on Your Side is going to take a closer look. We're going to hear what the experts have to say about it. That's at 6:45.
And welcome back. We just got some new information at the top of the hour about the tornado and the damage that was done in Perryville, Missouri.
That news conference was wrapping up right when we came on the air, but here is the latest. This is what we just got just less than 15 seconds ago.
Last evening, approximately 8 p.m., severe weather produced tornadoes that claimed the life of one person and injured at least 10. Local emergency responders effected multiple rescues from vehicles on the Interstate 55, homes, and other structures in our community.
Here, and you're going to be able to see there.
All right, so right now we are going to show you, this is a live look right now from the chopper. We are getting our first aerial view of the damage there in Perryville. As you just heard, 1 dead there, at least 10 injured. We can see that homes have been completely destroyed. This is devastating. We're getting our first look right now at this damage. Our Ryan Dean is out there. He was standing in front of what he couldn't tell was a home or business earlier before. As of right now, we are only reporting and we only know that there is 1 dead and 10 injured. But as that sun comes up and those crews get out there to these homes, we may hear of more injuries. This damage, very severe there. Those trees there's absolutely no branches on those trees. One of the strongest tornadoes tore through the Perryville area last night. The first one hit at about 7:45. That was when someone was ejected from their vehicle on 55. That person was killed. Cars were completely swept off the highway on 55. And then again at 3:45, the sirens went off this morning. That's when our crews, Ryan Dean and Rick Meyer, they had to take shelter. That was at 3:45 this morning. At this point, though, Rennie, Scott is saying that the threat is clear. But again, this is a live aerial view. Our first look this morning at the damage after the tornado from overnight.
Yeah, the storm came through pretty quickly, moving about 65 miles an hour, so it blew right over the top of the area and got through there fairly fast. But as Ryan told us earlier, I think everybody was in a state of, oh no, here we go again. They took shelter there and everybody made it out of that shelter okay. And now they're getting an opportunity to get out into the community and see what type of damage was actually done in the area. Probably something that helped save a lot of lives undoubtedly is the fact that people were made aware of this long before it took place. They knew the circumstances, that the environment and the atmosphere was setting up that you could have something like this take place. Plus, I think with it being a rural area, there's not a lot of people living in those places. And if we have Scott's mic open right now, Scott is taking a look at this footage with us right now. Scott, when you see this video, what can you tell us about the path of this tornado? Well, a couple of things you notice here. Obviously, the trees snapped off up above, and that's a clear indication. But a lot of the damage we were seeing there a few minutes ago when they were zooming in on some of the buildings were outbuildings like barns and garages. Now you're looking more into the homes there, and you can see, partially the roof off that home there. If you have a barn, we saw a few minutes ago a tractor, you could see that clearly exposed. Your outbuildings and your farm buildings aren't built to the same construction standards as a house is. Now here's a house where you are missing part of the roof and it looks like perhaps part of the wall
of a side wall might be collapsed there. And you can see it's clearly in the path because you can tell the trees have just been sheared off through that area, and there's a definite path there. But then you look at this house that they're zooming in now, and you see the outbuildings, it looks like, around that, maybe the garage, maybe it was a farm building. They're in shambles, but the house, the main house itself, because of the type of construction, the home being more well constructed rather than a shed or a barn, you know, and the wind can get in that barn, and you know, wind, when it gets into a building, depending on how it's constructed, can certainly cause greater damage. Now, it looks like there's some damage to a large home there right in the center of the screen, but again, we're high up and we're not zoomed in on it, but clearly there is a great deal of damage, and especially a lot of the outbuildings there are completely messed up, and you see it just strewn through. The damage and the debris just strewn through. Now that looks like it's a more substantial building right there. That looks like a house and a home would have been in the direct path of that storm. Now, until crews get out and can actually get on the ground and survey this today, you won't know exactly what the wind speeds are with this. Obviously, it's a pretty significant tornado, because there you have a house, what would appear to be a house right there.
Gone.
It's completely gone.
You were saying that this path may have been 199 miles long?
The circulation was at least around 200 miles. You know, we don't know if the tornado itself, we don't think it was on the ground for that entire time, but this storm, the circulation with this actually started back before it was in Reynolds County, and there was some wind damage reported that would kind of time out with this storm that later moved east and through Perry County, and you can see some of the damage there. And again, those homes severely damaged there that you're looking at right now, and so that's a significant thing. Here's the thing. This is in the National Weather Service office in Paducah. This is their warning responsibility area. They are still working severe weather this morning, and they have been all night long. So it's going to take a while for them to regroup and get people out to do the damage. This is a long track scenario. It went through their entire warning area, all the way from Missouri into Indiana, at some point causing damage. So they have a lot to survey, and I don't know that they'll get to it all today. I just honestly don't.
And of course, stay with 5 on your side for the very latest. We will continue to follow this. As Scott was just saying, as crews get out there, we're going to be learning a lot more. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with all of those people. We are going to shift now to our other big news this morning. That, of course, is the reaction to the president's first address to both houses of Congress. It's pouring in. Reaction is the major digs seen in the past month were gone in the speech. NBC's Edward Lawrence joins us from Washington to show us the speech and the response.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
President Donald Trump wasted no time condemning anti-Semitic threats and vandalism.
While we may be a nation divided on policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
He laid out aggressive goals for jobs, infrastructure, and immigration, but lacked a lot of specifics.
I believe that real and positive immigration reform is possible.
Mr. Trump had harsh words for ISIS.
A network of lawless savages that have slaughtered Muslims and Christians and men and women and children of all faiths and all beliefs.
He directed the Department of Defense to demolish the terror group. The president ended with a call for unity.
We are one people with one destiny. We all bleed the same blood.
The speech had mixed reviews, with some Democrats saying they can't ignore his past divisive language.
The volume was just slightly lower, but the rhetoric was the same. Coming together as a nation involves more than just campaign rhetoric or empty promises and platitudes. There have to be specific steps.
Republicans believe the president hit the mark.
We do expect an executive order today rewriting the temporary travel ban. The president defended it last night as necessary. The new order is expected to drop Iraq as one of the banned countries. Edward Lawrence, NBC News, Washington.
And of course, the Today Show will have a live interview with Vice President Mike Pence. You can see it all at 7 o'clock right here on 5 on Your Side. Our storm coverage continues right after this.
This is the live shot right now out in Perryville. You see the damage done to a truck that was undoubtedly on Highway 55 making its way through the Perryville area when that tornado hit. We'll have much more on the damage being done down there. Stay with us on Today in St. Louis. Welcome back to Today in St. Louis. It has been a tremendous night of weather and morning of weather in the St. Louis area. This is a live shot right now from our helicopter above Perryville, Missouri, where a deadly tornado touched down last night. There was another tornado warning earlier this morning. Tornado watch, actually, as another tornado moved through the area. You can see the damage that was done. Houses completely destroyed, other houses partially standing. Highway 55, cars are strewn all about, damaged. That's where a person was killed when they were ejected from their car as a storm moved through that area.
Yeah, it's really incredible, Scott. We're just getting an inside look into people's living rooms this morning.
Literally. And when you look at this, you know, the outside walls of these homes are collapsed. Now, one of the things that the National Weather Service folks will be doing when they go out and do the storm survey, they'll look at the type of construction, make sure it's solid construction. That's part of it. But when you start losing most of the outside walls and you see that house there, there's very little left. You know, you are talking about very significant damage here and winds that are probably going to be over 150 miles per hour. If assuming these are built, you know, well built and well constructed homes, there's literally a table that they use to go out and do this. And these, I would assume, these are going to be pretty well built constructed homes as you're looking there.
And you know, when you see that damage, you can truly understand why you guys preach and preach and preach the importance of getting into the basement quickly, getting to your safe place fast, getting to an interior room in the house that's, you know, walled off from the outside world. And when you look at the damage done, you notice that what's standing are those interior places, and then the houses that are destroyed, you can see the basements right there. So obviously, those are the safe places to be.
And in a situation like what you're seeing right now, you always want to have something covering your head.
Yes.
You know, wearing even a bicycle
and shoes,
helmet. Yeah,
if you're going to go outside.
Because then once this happens, then you're trying to get out of it. You know, you've got nails, you've got debris, you've got glass. What a mess. Our friends down in Perryville, our thoughts and prayers are with you this morning. And again, we'll continue to keep you updated as we continue to get more information. The good news that we have for you is a severe weather threat completely over. Here's a review of those storms. We had big hailstorms initially that developed just south and east of St. Louis, and then eventually we saw those circulating thunderstorms that produced that possible tornado as far back as maybe Lesterville in Reynolds County. The circulation was there and it had some wind damage reported, but we definitely know that that storm, once it got down around Perryville, it kept going over into Illinois, and then more storms flared along during the early morning hours this morning, and that brought about additional wind reports as well. So everything has moved out of the area. Skies are clearing at this point. We have a pretty quiet day ahead. Temperatures as we head into this afternoon will top out in the low and mid 50s. Yes, it will be breezy, and yes, temperatures will be kind of cool by comparison with yesterday, but still a little above average for this time of year. Weekend is looking very nice at this point. There's no active weather for the next few days. We'll catch you in just a few minutes for sure.
And after last night's weather, Scott, I think we earned a really nice weekend ahead. This morning, we are drying the roads out already. If you're out the door early, you still technically may see a wet spot or two, but the bulk of the rain is now moving out of the area. Some ponding of water is still an issue out toward Mount Vernon this morning. Let's get back into to our metro locations and getting a report here from last night that we still have likely some debris in some of the neighborhoods from, say, Belleville through Centerville, through Collinsville, through Glen Carbon because of some of the winds that rolled through. Just small twigs and things like that, but likely just getting out of the subdivision, you may run into some of the stuff this morning. So think that if you're in the Edwardsville area this morning. Already getting a report of an accident westbound 64 here, just past the split with 70 and 55. See the slowdown already back to North 25th Street coming in toward the Poplar Street Bridge. So we are already slow there. And had a report here of an accident in the southbound direction of 55 at Arsenal. Looks like that accident has cleared this morning. We are verifying that by looking at our camera shot here. That is your traffic and weather together.
All right, Gary, thanks. And as we head to break, another look of the extensive damage here in Perryville. This is from the chopper. We are just getting these images into the newsroom. People waking up to this in Perryville after tornadoes there. We will be right back.
Time now for Sammy Starr. Say hello to Romulus and Rhea, two great cats who live with Sean and Camilla Johnson in O'Fallon, Missouri. If you'd like to see your pet on television, email your pics and a little information about your pet, along with your name and hometown to Sammy@KSCK.com.
And today's pet comes from the APA of Missouri. This is Sugar, a 6-year-old Labrador mix. We're talking about you, Sugar. Very friendly with people and doesn't seem to want a treat this morning. Sugar is house trained. She loves going on walks and she does very well in the car. You can meet Sugar at the APA Adoption Center on Hanley Road.
Wow. The time now is 6:32.
The next half hour of Today in St. Louis starts right now.
From 5 on your side, this is Today in St. Louis.
And welcome back to Today in St. Louis on this Wednesday morning. People waking up to this in Perryville. This is a look from our chopper of the damage there. 1 death has been reported at this point in Perryville. At least 10 injured, cars up on their roofs, homes completely destroyed.
It's just an incredible sight to see. Unbelievable at times when you think about all of that taking place overnight in the dark. Had to have been very frightening. In fact, there was another tornado warning that moved through our area, actually around 4 o'clock this morning. Our Ryan Dean is down there in Perryville. Let's go to Ryan live right now with the very latest on the developments with this tornado. Ryan?
Hey, good morning to both of you guys. Yeah, this is just some of the devastation behind me, left behind from last night's tornado. This actual big rig was damaged on Interstate 55. We're told it was hauled away here to this nearby wreckage area. And again, we were told this was on Interstate 55 last night. We just got a very brief update from emergency officials at 6 o'clock this morning. I want to show you part of that right now.
As daylight begins and severe weather subsides, emergency crews will be out reassessing the impacted areas. We ask that you listen to emergency responders. If areas are not accessible, please be aware of downed power lines and other hazards from storm debris.
Here's what I can tell you from the Missouri Highway State Patrol, with that 1 person was killed in this tornado last night. They say it was a local man. He was actually in his car, ejected from his car on Interstate 55. We're told by the Perryville Police Department that about 10 homes were damaged. They're still trying to kind of look at those homes and assess the damage, but they say right now they also know that 10 others were injured in this storm. So you have 1 fatality, 10 others injured at this time. There are no people that are unaccounted for. So the search and rescue efforts have stopped right now. They believe that everybody in the city is accounted for at this time. But again, now they're just kind of assessing all the damage, and you're seeing some of that new video from the helicopter that came into our breaking news center just moments ago. But that is the very latest here in Perryville, a very devastating sight to see, and we'll bring you much more throughout the morning. Interstate 55, guys, was closed for some time overnight, several hours actually. Several cars from a nearby restoration center was actually blew onto Interstate 55. Those cars have been removed, and Interstate 55 is now reopened. But again, the really sad news: 1 fatality with this storm. Back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. The shot of that mangled truck behind him is just unbelievable. Now, if you were watching 5 on your side last night, you saw how our weather team tracked the storm and the damage that was done in Perryville.
But what you don't often get to hear is emergency responders who are working to help victims of the storm. So here's what the Missouri Highway Patrol scanner sounded like just moments after the twister crossed over Interstate 55.
There's also a tornado warning for South Central St. Francis County.
I reported a 10:15 with injuries. There's approximately 10 cars. We just had a tornado.
4-door Saturn SL1. It's no damage. It's just mired down in the mud about 20 feet off of the road. Possibly multiple vehicles that struck debris in the roadway. We've got multiple residents that sustained severe damage. We have occupants trapped inside. We have fire en route.
Geez, and Scott, what is so frightening about this is when it came, because so many people were asleep, and when you hear that in the dark,
Well,
I can't imagine.
It's after dark, yeah. You know, that's when it's always scary because you can't clearly see everything. And, you know, I wouldn't think people driving down the interstate, had they known they were driving into a tornado, they would have stopped.
Sure.
You know, had it been daylight, you know, they might have seen it. But at night, you're not going to see it as well. That storm actually started back over Reynolds County and moved on to the east. Perry County schools, Perry County 32 is closed today, and St. Vincent schools in Perryville are closed today. So just keep that in mind. We're basically looking at quiet weather. The storm tracked onto the east. It's long gone. And so yesterday it was a long track tornado because we actually had some wind damage back into portions of Reynolds County with that. Not sure if that was when a tornado touched down, but the circulation was there. And then that moved over towards Perryville and it kept on going. And the track of this is about 200 miles long. Now, that's not to say that the circulation was actually on the ground the entire time. But by golly, the circulation was in that storm and it was being warned on by the National Weather Service offices out of St. Louis and out of Paducah with early warning to let people know what was going on. This morning, everything has settled down. We're looking at a fair amount of clouds around the area. We're dropping to about 50 this morning early on. And then as we head into this afternoon, we'll be in the low to mid 50s for highs. We are pretty quiet weather-wise for the next few days. That's good news.
Thanks so much. And as we head to break, we're going to give you another live look from our chopper. This is what people are waking up to in Perryville after the tornado touched down there.
We'll be right back in just a moment, but it's going to be a very, very long day in that area as people pick through the debris and try to find their family and friends and make sure that everyone is okay. Prayers to the folks in the Perryville area. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Today in St. Louis. A lot of folks are waking up right now all around the area, assessing the damage that was done overnight and this morning from all the storms that moved through. No area was hit harder than the Perryville, Missouri area, just off Highway 55, where these are live pictures from our helicopter. You can see houses have been completely destroyed, cars flipped over and thrown about. We know that there was at least one fatality in that area. That was someone who was driving, a local man who was driving on Highway 55 when he was ejected from his car as the storm moved across that area. We know that a number of cars were destroyed along the highway. The highway was shut down for a while. But again, these are aerial shots from our helicopter of the Perryville area. And as you can see, the damage is very, very heavy.
And our storm coverage will continue throughout the rest of our show. We want to get to some other news happening today. A Mexican restaurant manager facing deportation will appear in court. This story has received national attention. Agents arrested Juan Carlos Hernandez Pacheco on February 9th. Hernandez came to the West Frankfort, Illinois area in the 1990s, but he did not obtain legal status. He was convicted of drunk driving a decade ago, and now his community is trying to save him from deportation. Opening statements begin today in the double murder trial of former NFL player Aaron Hernandez. Hernandez is charged in the fatal shootings of two men back in 2012. He's already serving a life sentence for the 2013 murder of semi-professional football player Odin Lloyd. Also today, the Ferguson Police Department and community leaders are holding a Dine Out fundraiser for Officer Kevin Hill. He recently had a kidney transplant. The fundraiser will take place on Wednesday at participating restaurants to help offset his medical costs and his living expenses. We do have a list of all those participating restaurants on our website at ksdk.com.
The time right now is 6:42. Here's a question for you. If you're making dinner at home tonight, will you use traditional produce or will you go organic?
What if I don't know which one's better?
Good call. Good
Fruits
call.
and vegetables. They're grown without pesticides and they've become popular in recent years, but are they really worth the extra cost? Well, 5 on Your Side is going to break it down for you at 6:45.
And here's another live look at the damage that was done overnight from the tornado in Perryville, Missouri. As you can see, the path is wide and very destructive. Houses completely destroyed. We'll have much more from this area coming up. You're watching Today in St. Louis at 6:30.
Well, you walk into a grocery store and you're faced with a choice, the costly organic food or the cheaper traditional food. Many skeptics wonder, is the organic food actually worth it? 5 on Your Side's Pat McGonigal has the inside scoop from an expert.
Oh, organic apples again.
If the organic food trend is catching your appetite, get ready to fork over some extra cash, 30 to 60% more cash. So what are you paying for?
There's not much difference in terms of quality, safety, and nutrition between conventional and organic foods.
Wait, but you've heard what they say, organic food is healthier, safer, all around better. So let's hear that again.
There's not much difference in terms of quality, safety, and nutrition.
Registered dietitian Melina Pardomo says traditional produce has the same nutritional value as organic food. The main difference, its journey from seed to your pantry, how it's produced, and what it's grown with.
It is made without synthetic fertilizers, synthetic chemicals.
Just because your bank account isn't fruitful doesn't mean you have to stay away. Plan out which organic food you buy.
There are lists that you can look up of which foods contain the most pesticides.
So is buying organic worth it? Depending on your priorities, it could be.
If you have the money to spend on organic fruits and vegetables, go for it.
But simply trying to be healthy, take the advice you've heard since childhood.
Eat more fruits and vegetables, organic or not.
And we have our entire Is It Worth It series posted right now at KSDK.com and on the KSDK mobile app. Just search Is It Worth It?
Let us bounce back now to the big story of the morning. And that, of course, is our weather, severe weather that moved through overnight, bringing deadly tornadoes down to the Perryville area. You can see right there the damage that was done. This is a live shot from our helicopter. A number of homes just look like they were exploded on site. All you can see are basements that are left for some folks. Really a tough time. You see branches on the trees there completely gone. You wouldn't even know those are trees. You probably just thought it was, sticks in the ground. You see the swimming pool there behind someone's home, and hopefully most of the people in the area are okay and there are no more deaths to report, but we can tell you that there was one death that occurred off of Highway 55, a local man who was ejected from his car. Let's get the very latest now on the storm that moved through our area with our Scott Connell. And Scott, it looks like the worst of it is done and moved through, and a nice day is ahead for us.
Yeah, we have a quiet weather pattern here setting up shop, but you see the damage is extensive there, and National Weather Service will get some storm survey crews on the scene to assess how well built those homes are, and they do look like they're pretty substantial homes. They're built well, and then from that they have a chart that they can go through and base what you see visually with the damage, the type of damage, and the type of structure, the type of trees, and then they can come up for us with an assessment of just how strong the winds were. I'm telling you, based on what we're seeing here this morning, obviously very substantial damage there. And it wasn't just that. This was confined to one pretty narrow area down in Perry County that went straight across southern Illinois for a long distance. You see some of the clearing trying to work in, but we had a tremendous amount of hail across the area. There's going to be a lot of insurance claims going on today. Broken windows even, a lot of roof damage. You got 2-inch hail in Troy, Illinois. Red Bud had 1.5 inch hail. There was a lot of places east and south of St. Louis with some golf ball size hail. The second line came through overnight as anticipated in the middle of the night. And then we had the storm reports on there. And again, extensive storm reports, including that long track tornado going out of Perryville and across southern portions of Illinois. The best news that we have for you this morning is that things are settling down. Skies are going to be clearing out. We get some sunshine this afternoon. Upper 40s to low 50s will do it for highs. It's a pretty breezy day. But it looks like for the next few days we have quiet weather, and heading into the weekend, a nice warm up on the way as well. We're back close to 70 degrees by Sunday, but certainly a lot of rebuilding and a lot of picking up the pieces down south this morning, Gary.
Well, Scott, we're getting more reports now. The sun is up down in Perry County of additional closures for roads down there. So let's start with that talk. And of course, you have the metro locations, and we're looking down into Perry County, Perryville, kind of the nerve center with all the damage there. Along 55, we know we had the interstate closed last night. Well, just getting a report in now that we still have some power lines blocking part of a lane on the southbound direction, in the southbound direction of 55 here, north of 51. So that is actually one of our alternate routes to work around the closure of 61 that's close to the town of Brewer there. You still have access. It's both directions. We have crews out there working. So trying to work around that as well. Even Route C, closer to the river, reports here that it's closed because of debris that is on the minor or secondary roads out there. We are drying things out now, but I'll tell you what, Illinois communities, say like Centerville, Collinsville, Belleville, toward Glen Carbon. We have had some pretty gusty winds last night, so there's probably some debris in your neighborhoods as you step out the door. So keep that in mind as you head into work. And we are still slow coming in the Poplar Street Bridge. Lane blocked with an accident, 64 westbound, just past the split with 55 and 70.
5 on your side in Perryville this morning. We just got some brand new information within the last hour about that deadly tornado. We'll have that for you.
And we're tracking power outages caused by the storms in the Metro East. The number of Ameren customers without power right now.
And we are back with breaking news in southeastern Missouri. We are getting our first real look at the damage done by those storms in Perryville overnight. Our Ryan Dean kicks off our team coverage. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning to you. So we've been moving around this morning showing you different damage from that storm. Behind me, this is a tractor trailer that was damaged on Interstate 55 last night. We also have some brand new video coming in this morning from the sky, from our helicopter. We want to show you that as well. You can see the destruction here in the Perryville area. It looks like ground zero just north of Perryville here in Perry County. We received an update just moments ago from the emergency management official here in Perryville, very emotional as he took to the podium.
Last evening, approximately 8 p.m., severe weather produced tornadoes that claimed the life of one person and injured at least 10. Local emergency responders effected multiple rescues from vehicles on the Interstate 55, homes, and other structures in our community.
55 shut down for several hours. It did reopen overnight. We're told by the Missouri State Highway Patrol that fatality, a local man was killed on Interstate 55. It was actually ejected from his car. We're expecting another update coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon from local officials. That is the very latest from Perryville. Ryan Dean, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Ryan. Power has been restored to thousands of people after the storm moved or caused outages in the Metro East. 5 on your side, Kai Edwards has been tracking the power outages all morning long. She's live for us in Maryville with the latest. Good morning, Kaya.
Good morning, Rennie. So earlier this morning, thousands of Ameren, Illinois customers in the Metro East were without power, but crews have been working hard. So now that number is down to only around 100. But there are still thousands of people without power south of the Metro East in and near Sparta, Illinois. Now, this video from Collinsville shows you just how serious the storms were. You can see emergency crews responding, removing an uprooted tree from the road. Now, if you see downed power lines or tree limbs this morning while you're out, Ameren, Illinois reps are reminding you to report it. They say do not try to move it on your own.
All right, Kaya, thanks so much for that. And we're going to send it over to weather now. And Scott, these images that we're getting into our newsroom this morning are just incredible. And as we've been saying all morning, this is really our first look. And as crews get out there and begin to assess the damage, there could be more injuries. Our hope is that there is not, and that people did take heed to the warnings that were given out yesterday.
Well, I know based on past experience, the first responders do get out into these areas as quickly as they can. You see a telephone pole there that's completely knocked over, that power pole completely knocked over. But then you look around, and while you're seeing some scattered damage on the roofs there of those homes, then you're finding a home there that the roof is gone. And, you know, just depending on where you go, there's literally nearly complete destruction of some of the structures down here and a lot of widespread damage to the trees as well. And that's all indication of the path of this storm and the amount of damage that it caused. Now, I do have some good news for you this morning. Probably the most important thing you want to hear, that system is pressing away from the area. So we are going to see some clearing as the day wears on. Improvements definitely on the way today. We will have gusty breezes today, a few clouds this afternoon. Those winds could gust still around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that may hamper the cleanup just a little bit for areas to the south of St. Louis and even into the Metro East. Cahokia earlier this morning at Parks Airport had a 70 mile per hour gust. That was indicated by that downed tree you saw there with Kaya's report just a few minutes ago. That prompted a lot of power outages. Next couple of days, temperatures pretty close to average in the 40s and 50s. But then this weekend, it looks just delightful. Back to 64 on Saturday, 70 on Sunday. Unfortunately, the weekend for some is going to be spent cleaning up a big mess, Gary.
And if you're just joining us here at the end of our newscast, you've been focusing on Perry County and some of the closures there. With the light now coming up, we're starting to get more closures confirmed by MoDOT for us. Still seeing a left closure in both directions of 61 here, north of Perryville toward the town of Brewer. In fact, in the entire area, we're hearing they're closing it off here this morning. And just got a report in, and I didn't really get to show this on my graphic. I didn't have the time to do that. But southbound lanes of 55 from Route M down toward 51, we're hearing a lane is blocked there because of power lines still an issue there. So keep that in mind here in the southbound direction. Of course, is opposite of the main flow. But boy, I'll tell you what, a lot of cleaning up going to be done here over the next several weeks.
We're going to take another look at that live picture out of Perryville from our helicopter, and the devastation is widespread. It is tremendous. As we said, it's going to be a very long day there, a very long week as people recover and try to clean up from the devastation.
We want to say once again that our thoughts and prayers are with those people. We thank you for joining us. Be sure to stay with 5 on your side for the latest.